All right, guys, welcome to episode 3 of Family First Car Reviews. Brian, what do we got today?
We are in the 2020 Subaru Ascent, and it's a rainy, gloomy day here in Texas, which is perfect because what do we love about Subarus?
We love that symmetrical all-wheel drive that comes standard in every Subaru.
That's right, and today we're going to put it to the test on Family First Car Reviews.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right, Casey, we're in our Subaru, and this is perfect because it's raining, you got your flannel on, you got your coffee, and you even have a head cold.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. We were basically in Seattle.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Right.
It's Seattle and Texas today.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think where I want to start with this car is that Subaru is all around different. Okay, they're a little quirky, across the model lineup, and this car is no different. And right away, sitting in that seat, some things definitely jumped out. What are you feeling right now, piloting the Ascent?
Well, yeah, it is different. You're sitting up a little higher. Everything about this actually kind of has a bit of a more upright minivan kind of feel to it.
It does.
Yeah,
it's like you're sitting on top of the car.
Yeah, it's a little strange. But it's fine. It is very comfortable over here, at least. If I had one gripe, I would say that there's not quite enough adjustment in the seat.
And in the steering wheel.
And in the steering wheel. And I can't quite get it close enough to me where I would normally like. Because I'd actually like to be sitting a little bit further away from the pedals right now. I'm 6'1". And I can't really do that because I would be too far. I'm already too far away from the steering wheel. I'm a little uncomfortable. So
yeah, not a lot of adjustability over there.
Even less over there.
Even less over here from a power seat standpoint, but the seat overall is pretty comfortable.
It is.
Another thing you mentioned yesterday was the steering wheel. You really like the size and how it feels.
Yeah, it's just about perfect. It's a nice diameter. It's just small enough, nice and thick, but not too thick, which is just an area that manufacturers struggle with for some unknown reason. It seems like an easy thing to get right, but oh well.
And going back to that vertical thing you were talking about, some of the things I need the most, I can't really see, and they're not that easy to reach over and grab.
Yeah, the climate controls are a little too far down, so they're not easy to see. And I wish you'd have a little bit more color coding in the display there, so it was a little bit easier, quick reference to see what you're doing and where you're set right now.
Yeah, but you know, the good thing is we do have a good user-friendly navigation system and infotainment. It may at first glance seem a little old school, but everything's really easy to use. So if I pop into my maps, it's powered by TomTom, who really specialize in this sort of thing, especially with smaller screens. And so everything that I actually need is like one click away. And one cool feature I really like, if I want to just save where I'm currently at, it's one touch, click save, and I've got a shortcut to that
right
for future. Really, really nice. The graphics, when you start to zoom out on the nav, are actually really good. A lot of detail, which is pretty rare.
Yeah, it's very rare. Even when I'm in Android Auto using Google Maps and you zoom out, a lot of that detail disappears too quickly.
Right.
If you're in any factory navigation screen I've been in, it's like the worst. It just goes all away as soon as you start to zoom out at all.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
And speaking of Android Auto, we do have it in this car. It does take up the full screen and pretty good. Very clear. It operates like it's supposed to. We love it. We've got our infotainment system here. But what do we have up here?
Well, we've got a lot of things. We've got this little screen, which initially was showing kind of trip computer information, range, instant miles per gallon, that sort of thing. But you can actually cycle through many different views on there. I thought it was dumb at first, but once we started to use it and cycle through it all, there's some good information that you could have up there at any given time.
Which is cool because if I want to control my radio buttons down here, I still get my turn-by-turn up on this little screen.
Yeah, and that's nice and high. A lot of times they put that little turn-by-turn in your center of your instrument cluster, and that's fine, but it still makes me a little uncomfortable. It's pulling my eyes a little too far down. This is nice and high. and big for a quick glance. I like that feature.
And this is a classic Subaru design to have this up here. And the reason they're doing that is because there is no heads-up display in this car.
Yeah.
We did talk about materials, and this is the touring model. The only one where you can get this nice brown leather in, and contrasting leather here on the dash and the doors. It looks really good.
It looks great. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and like you said, the materials are definitely an upgrade for Subaru. They're not quite with some of the other materials, like, you know, like the Telluride and everything that we like. But I will say, Subaru interiors have always bugged me because the dash and all that has always felt very hollow and very flimsy, and I don't get that here. Even if the materials themselves aren't super premium, at least the build of the interior is a big upgrade. Okay, so Brian just got a message from the boss. We've been given an assignment that frankly I think is way too daring to be taking on in just episode 3. I'm not sure we're ready for it. But we're doing this for you, and so here we are. We're gonna tackle Costco on a Saturday.
Not good.
Not good. And what are we doing this for?
A desk.
A desk.
A desk. I'm not.
Very,
it's good.
Very important desk, apparently.
Very important desk. We're gonna get in. We're gonna get out. We've got the right vehicle for it. It'll fit. We can do this. We can do it for the people.
You say so.
Let's go.
Okay.
Oh boy.
3.5 hours. And this is their first test.
Found a spot. We found a spot. Flatbed?
Yeah.
Okay, we got it. We got the desk. It fits just fine. And check this out. I got, as a bonus, this flannel. So now we got matching flannels. Dude, what is that?
It's popcorn.
Is that Chicago mix?
Yeah.
Bust it open.
All right, we're back and we're headed towards the Nürburgring to put this thing through its paces. So we thought this would be a good time to talk price. So what does this start at?
It starts at just over $31,000 with all-wheel drive.
With all-wheel drive, standard on all models. So factor that in when you're comparing. This one tops out at $46,000 for the touring.
Everything on it.
Everything on it. You cannot add any more options. So
yeah, I think that presents a very interesting proposition. If I had $33,000 to spend and I wanted an all-wheel drive 3-row SUV, this would definitely be on the list.
Yeah, it would have to be, because there's not a lot of them with good all-wheel drive systems in that range.
Yeah, absolutely. However, once you start going up the ladder, especially when you get into something in the mid-40s,
yeah,
I think you got to look at some other options.
Yeah, absolutely. I think kind of in that price range, you know, obviously something like the Telluride, I think presents a better value if you're looking for more of the luxury touches.
Yeah, because once you get to 46 with the Telluride, you've got all-wheel drive, you've got all of the bells and whistles, you've got those heated and cooled seats, the heads-up display, the 360 camera. There's a lot of things they pack in there that really presents it as a tremendous value. And even things with the Pilot and the Highlander start to come into play. You don't get as good all-wheel drive setups in those vehicles as you do this or something like the Telluride.
Right. All right, so it's time to talk about what it's like in the second row of the Subaru Ascent. And, you know, it's okay. It's not the most comfortable second row I've ever been in for an adult. A little short floor to ceiling for kind of maximum comfort, but it's okay. We've got our heated seats. We've got some climate controls. Got a couple different charging ports, including our AC outlet, which is a great thing to have. This is the captain's row option. So third row access for adults, kids, and everything is going to be a little easier. If you've got the bench, though, we'll show you later, not the easiest to get in and out of the third row. But otherwise, it's fairly comfortable. I've got the seat set where I would normally sit as the driver, and I'm plenty comfortable. But I'm going to move this up a couple of notches because I'm going to show you when I get in the back that there's not that much room back there. So now I'm kind of where minimum I would need to be in order to be comfortable in the second row. So let's see what it's like to sit behind me. So not my favorite entry of a third row. I think that extra ground clearance you get has a trade-off on inside where there's just, it's kind of cramped trying to step through this. And then as you notice, I can't fit behind this seat at all with it in its rearmost position. It's just not going to happen. So let me slide over here. Okay, now we can see I went to this side. This seat's a little bit more forward, and I could fit here okay if I was sitting here, so not too bad. In the third row, you've got all the normal stuff you need. There's 2 charging ports on each side, so 4 charging ports in a third row for 3 people. We've got vents in the ceiling, so you're gonna stay nice and cool. Good reading lights for the kids back here to look at their iPads. 4 cup holders. Again, not the most comfortable place. My head's hitting the ceiling pretty good, but it'd be fine for your teenagers or small kids. Okay, let's talk car seats. We've actually got the front row set kind of for minimum comfort, I would say. We can't really go any more forward without making it a not fun place for the adults, just to get that child carrier in there. Now you could recline the second seat and get a little relief that way, but still, it was kind of a tight squeeze. And same goes for the rear facing child seat. If you've got one of these that's designed with the extra kind of legroom ledge, you're definitely going to be squeezing in on the front row just to get these in here, but it will work, so it's got that going for it. Okay, so let's talk cargo space and usability. Back here behind the third row with the seats up, I would say this is pretty good storage space in class, maybe even a little too good, because I think I could have used some of that space here for the third row passengers, but that's just me. Another little thing about the third row that might be a deal breaker for some is that the third row fold down is just barely a one-handed operation. I would say you kind of have to have a lot of hand dexterity to do it with one hand. Most people are going to find it easier to do with 2, and that's going to be a problem, you know, when you're carrying groceries or a child carrier or something like that. But overall, you know, get it folded down and there's a lot of good space. You can see there are mounting points for a cargo cover back there. It's not in there right now, and that brings me to something really clever that I have not seen anywhere else. Is that Subaru gave you this extra storage space, and they gave you a place to mount the cargo cover when not in use. I have not seen that in any other vehicle, and I like that feature a lot, because usually when you remove that, it ends up sitting in your garage or you forget it, and so I like having that ability to put it there a whole lot. And then there's some nice storage under here as well, so really smart design from Subaru. I like it.
Okay, so we're turning down our favorite road, and this probably isn't all that fair because we got a giant desk in the back.
Yeah.
But man, what better way to see how it handles that kind of weight?
Yeah.
And we got a couple little dips in our road. Again, that torque, it just comes on so quick. It responds to your throttle inputs immediately.
These dips and things, this is the stuff that you really think Subaru is going to excel at, right? With that rally heritage, that's the thing I like when I get in any Subaru, is that solid feeling, the feeling that I can fly through those dips and corners. And you think you're getting that in this car?
Yeah, I think maybe not as much as you would in some of the other models, something like a Forester or an Outback, because this is big, and I'm getting a little bit more of the vibrations and the rolls through the vehicle as we're carrying through some of that, and even some of these corners. And so you can tell as we drive through here that Subaru maybe has given up a little bit of that rigidity and that off-road, maybe some of that capability that they're known for, just to be a little bit more comfortable for everybody in the vehicle. Yeah, it's big. Like, I couldn't take that corner with as much confidence as I could in some other vehicles, for sure.
All right, so I think the last question is just, if you're looking for a 3-row SUV, is this one going to be on your list? I'm going to have to say probably not, mostly because some that third row, it's a little cramped for me, and when I'm looking for a car, I'm going to have 2 kids in car seats for a while, which means I want that third row mostly to carry the occasional adult. And I would say this is not really the car for you if you're doing that. More so if you just need a third row to put your kids or teenagers back there for, you know.
Yeah, I think that's right. You got younger kids, and you've got more than 2, and you know you're going to have some in the third row. It's great. And back to who this car is for, I don't think it's for us. I think if you, again, live in climates where all-wheel drive is a must and you need that third row, this should absolutely be on your list. I think Subaru's done a really good job of taking things up a notch, and I think with their future products, we see where they're going, and we're pretty excited to see what happens there. So, guys, thanks so much for watching. We really enjoyed the Subaru Ascent, and make sure you like our video and subscribe to the channel. Catch some of the previous videos as well. We got the e-tron and the Telluride. Check those out, and we'll see you next time on Family First Reviews.